Have you ever been to a birthday party or maybe the food court at the mall? You grab some ice cream and of course it comes with a plastic spoon. You enjoy your treat, it's delicious, and then, you know the drill. You toss that spoon right in the trash without a second thought.
So that spoon was probably in your hand for what, 5 minutes? Tops. But here's the wild part. For that little piece of plastic, its journey is just getting started.
You're not going to believe this, but that same spoon is going to sit in a pile of trash for more than 500 years. Yeah, 500. That means it'll still be around when your great-great-great-grandchildren are walking the planet. And why? Well, it's because most plastics are made from petroleum, from oil, and they basically never break down. And trust me, this is not a small problem. In just one country, India, people throw away 120 billion plastic utensils every single year. Can you even picture that? It's a mountain of trash that's going to stick around for centuries.
Okay, so faced with this giant, forever problem, some really smart people asked a super simple question. What if we could just eat the spoon? And that one little question started a massive chain reaction, kind of like tipping over the first domino in a huge line. Let's watch and see how it all goes down.
So the first domino to fall is what we'll call the grain swap. The idea is simple. Instead of making spoons out of plastic that last forever, why not bake them out of something you could find right in your kitchen pantry?
And that's exactly what they did. They started mixing together different kinds of flours, things like sorghum, rice, and wheat, to basically bake a spoon. It's like a recipe, but for your cutlery. How cool is that?
Now you might be hearing that word sorghum and thinking, what in the world is that? Well, think of it like a superhero grain. It's super tough, sometimes people call it millet, and it can grow in really dry places where other plants just can't make it. Okay, I know what you're thinking. A spoon made of flour? If you stick that in a bowl of hot soup, isn't it just going to turn into a bunch of soggy mush? It's a fair question.
You'd think so, but get this. Nope. The secret is they bake these spoons at a really high temperature, which makes them incredibly strong and tough. A spoon can hang out in hot soup for about 20 minutes before it even thinks about getting soft. So it's designed to be a great tool first and a tasty snack second. All right, on to the second domino. This one is all about what happens after you're done with your meal. And let me tell you, it's like a magic trick, the disappearing act. So, let's say you've finished your ice cream, but you are just way too full to eat your spoon. It happens. What if you just toss it into the grass outside? What happens then?
This is where a really awesome science word comes into play. Biodegradable. It sounds complicated, but it just means that something can be broken down completely by nature. You know, by bacteria and other living things, and it goes right back into the earth without leaving any trash.
Think about it like this. The plastic spoon sticks around for hundreds of years, polluting the planet. But the edible spoon, poof, it just disappears.
In fact, if you do toss one of these spoons outside, it will totally decompose in just 3 to 7 days. That's it. And who knows, you might even be leaving a safe, crunchy little snack for a bird or a squirrel that wanders by.
And now, for the third, and I think the most surprising domino of all, get ready for the water twist. And believe it or not, this part has nothing to do with plastic, it has everything to do with saving water.
I know. How on earth can the spoon you use for soup help save water for the whole planet? It sounds completely random, right? Well, stick with me here.
The secret is hiding in the ingredients. Remember our superhero grain, sorghum? Well, the companies that make these spoons are actually encouraging farmers to grow more sorghum instead of other crops like rice, which are super thirsty for water.
And check this out. To grow the same amount of food, sorghum needs 60 times less water than rice. 60! That is a mind-blowing amount of water saved. So by choosing one of these spoons, you're not just fighting plastic, you're also helping to save tons and tons of fresh water.
Okay, this whole idea sounds pretty amazing, I have to admit. But let's press pause for just a second and have a quick reality check. Are these spoons absolutely perfect right now?
So are you going to find these in your school cafeteria tomorrow? Probably not just yet. Right now, they do cost a little more to make than those super cheap plastic spoons. And what about the taste? Don't go in expecting a sweet, delicious cookie. It's really more like a very hard, crunchy cracker. But even with those couple of things, the idea itself is so incredibly important. It shows us that we don't always have to give things up to help the planet. Sometimes, we just have to get a little more creative. And really, this is the big idea I want you to walk away with.
Every single time you choose something that's better for the earth, an edible spoon, a reusable bottle, anything, you're sending a powerful message. You are literally voting for the kind of world that you want to live in.
Just let that sink in for a second. We could be creating a future where the thing you used to throw away becomes a healthy, yummy part of your lunch. Your trash could actually be treasure.
And that leaves us with one last kind of wild question to chew on. If we can make spoons out of grain, what else can we reinvent? What if one day the sneakers on your feet were made out of mushrooms instead of rubber? Whoa, now that is a chain reaction worth thinking about.